He is a national champion Michigan Wolverine himself, and one of my favorite players to have watched play football at my alma mater ever, because of what he made himself and what he has become and what he is as a top draft choice in the National Football League draft. Mike Sainristil here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great, Rich. Thank you for having me today. Super excited to speak with you.
Same here. Same here. So, where are you right now? You're done with your top 30 visits, right? Where are you right now, Mike?
I'm back in Michigan.
Okay. Is this and you are fresh off of which visits? Who can you tell me who you chatted with, Mike? Who did you see in this draft?
I visited Tampa. Tampa, Detroit, and New England.
Okay, so you don't have to go very far to visit Detroit.
No, just 20 minutes up the road.
Okay. And so which teams did you meet with at the Combine? Did you meet with all of them at the Combine as well?
For the most part, I had 8 formal interviews, but for the most part, I met with pretty much every team because I didn't go to any bowl games.
And so when you met with these teams, did you get a sense of any teams that were particularly keen on you, Mike, at all?
So it's funny because, you walk out those interviews, you feel like you killed it. And, most teams will tell you, we really want you, hope we get you. And often it's kind of just like, you have the power to do it. So just do it. But at the end of the day, every team I met with, I believe I left a good impression. And, that was my goal, just allow them to, see who I am as a person, go in there, have a good meeting, and, just do everything necessary to, want them to bring me into their organization.
And I'm just going to take a stab at this. Before going to New England, do you chat with Jabril Peppers? Do you have a relationship with him in any way, shape, or form, Mike?
Yeah, Jabril and I were cool. We're cool.
Okay. Did you chat with him before going there? Because, obviously you could put on the same uniform as him.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk. I didn't let him know I was going there, nor did I tell any of the Michigan guys there, Uche, Stuber. But I did see all 3 of them when I was there visiting, and it was good to see them there. I never played with Jabril. I actually grew up watching Jabril's highlights, and then him coming to Michigan. I came to Michigan. It was cool to see somebody I looked up to. And then, Uche, of course, Stuber, of course, seeing my former teammates. It was good to see them. And there's a very high possibility I do end up teammates with those guys.
Well, so and that's your hometown, isn't it? I mean, that's your spot. I mean, you went to high school just outside of Charleston.
Yeah,
Mike, right?
That was one of the things. That was one of the things I told the coaches was, it's kind of surreal to be here. I grew up a longtime Patriots fan. I had a great childhood of sports with Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics. I had a very hometown guy type of vibe while I was there. So it was good being there.
So how did you wind up at Michigan? How'd you get recruited there, Mike?
So I got offered by Michigan my junior year. Prior to committing to Michigan, I was committed to Virginia Tech. The 2 coaches on offense and defense both ended up taking jobs elsewhere. So I kind of was, in a spot where I was like, I don't want to go into an unstable situation. Let me reconsider my options. Let me make sure I'm really doing, making the right choice. Coach Harbaugh and Coach Brown, whenever they visited the area, not even just my school, but the area, they would always stop by my high school office and greet my mother, who worked as a secretary down there. And, for me, it was important, not important, but it was good to see that the coaches cared about my family, and they were already building those relationships. So to see that, and then, having conversation with them. Coach Harbaugh gave me an offer when I visited Michigan. The campus was great. My parents were big on academics, so we knew I was going to get good education coming to Michigan. And then lastly, I was going to be playing top tier football at a, very historic program. That was something I wanted to be a part of and, win a national championship here. So everything about being here was right. The team at the time, they treated me like family already. Staff treated me like family. So I just knew this was a place that I wanted to be.
So when you got there, though, is it true there was a fight between, not actual fisticuffs, but a push pull between the offensive and defensive coaches to get you to play on that side of the football? Mike?
Yes, that is true. That is true. And then Coach Harbaugh ultimately left the decision up to me to make on what side I wanted to be on.
So why did you choose the defensive side of the football?
I chose defense
Yeah.
4 years after. 4 years. You mean offense?
Okay, so you chose offense to start, right?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, your first touchdown was against Notre Dame. By the way, great school to score against. That's one of my favorite for a Michigan Wolverine to score against them is Notre Dame. But so how did you wind up defense then, Mike? Eventually,
just every year, I kind of would just joke around with the defensive staff about putting me on defense. COVID year, there was a time where they needed people who, seemed like they could play two ways, practice, because we had guys who were sick or hurt. Then my junior year, I kind of got a little bit more serious with the jokes because I felt like I wasn't producing the way I believed I could have at receiver. And then, going into my senior year, Coach Harbaugh called me and said, Mikey, with Dax Hill leaving, I definitely think you're a guy that could fill in the nickel spot. If you don't like it, you can always go back to receiver. And for me, the type of attitude I have is I'm going to do whatever it takes to help this team. So as soon as he hung up, I texted Steven Adagoki, who was a GA at the time. And the following day, I was upstairs learning the playbook.
They always say in the NFL, whenever a cornerback drops a football or a defensive back drops a football, say that's why they play defensive back, not wide receiver. So now you can have a whole different perspective, Mike Sainristil, don't you think?
100%.
Okay. And then, here's what I'll never forget about you. In the horseshoe, after Michigan had beaten Ohio State for the first time in forever, the year before, in the horseshoe, you jump up on a bench and you go into the fourth quarter, you put up the number 4. And seriously, as a Wolverine fan sitting at home, as a diehard Michigan guy sitting at home, I saw that and I just thought to myself, you know what? I think they've got this because nobody expected you to win 2 in a row, let alone go into the Ohio State and beat them there after the year before. That was supposed to be an outlier. I'm wondering where your leadership skills come from, Mike.
I'm definitely somebody who's action first. So, for me, it's always important to, show my teammates I'm somebody who's going to do as I say. And, I think naturally it's easier to gravitate towards that as, another person because no one wants to be around, somebody who's just always talking and they have nothing to show for it. And one thing Coach Herb would always say to us is what you do speak so loudly, I can't hear what you say. And, that resonates with me. And, for me, it's just like, I don't expect you to do something that I don't expect of myself. And so I'm always going to, my actions are always going to match up with the words that I say. And, if you're feeling that, then you're going to gravitate towards it. If not, then, you're just not meeting the standard that I have for myself and for the team,
And when did things kind of switch where you started believing that this team could win it all? I mean, when did it start with Aiden Hutchinson the year before the moment I was just referring to? When did that click, do you think, Mike, at Michigan?
I believe Aiden Hutchinson's year was the year that we knew we were definitely a great football team, and we knew that the culture was shifting. I do believe that there was a little bit complacency after we beat Ohio State. It was kind of like we did what no one expected us to do. We beat Ohio State. We're good with that. Like, we're satisfied. The following year was, okay, let's take it more serious going to this playoff game. We let it slip right through our hands. And the following year, so this past season, was when it was like, all right, 2 years in a row, like, we know what mistakes we made. We know what it feels like to be there. What is the next step? What else can we do to get over that hump? And really for us was just being able to build good habits in the off season and fall in love with the little details, because we knew we had talent. We knew the coaching was great. It was just how consistent can we be day in, day out to make sure that when it comes to that late in the season, we're not making early mistakes, going into those games. We're not, we're not allowing teams to capitalize on the things that we do wrong. You know what I mean? And we want to be the team to capitalize on other people's mistakes, like it was done to us the 2 years before. So it was just important for us to make sure we fall in love with the little details, because we knew we had everything in our favor. And just as the year went on, the camaraderie that we were able to continue building, it was just like there's nothing that's going to stop this team from, reaching our goal.
Mike Sainristil here on the Rich Eisen Show from Michigan, one of the top defensive prospects available in this year's draft, and I don't care who knows it, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. So a couple of narratives to hit you before we send you on to your rest of your pre-draft week, Mike. What do you say to people say that's an asterisk on Michigan's title because of everything was going down with the scandal and what wound up sidelining Coach Harbaugh for 3 games and putting Sharon Moore in that seat? Mike, what do you say to that?
I don't remember when it was I've said this. I do remember saying that no matter how good or how bad Michigan is doing, nobody wants to see us win. I feel like that it's always been that way. I feel like, Coach Harbaugh is hated in the college football world for whatever reason. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great coach. I love playing for him. So, there's no matter what other people think, you're not going to take away what we did from us this past season. So, sucks to be you if you want to believe that narrative. We're happy with what we did, and we got the job done.
All right, another narrative is that J.J. McCarthy shouldn't be traded up for or shouldn't be that high of a draft choice because he wasn't asked to do much, and thus he can't do what a quarterback in the NFL, certainly a top 5 draft choice, is. You played with him. You watched him grow into the man that he is and champion that he is. What do you say when you hear that, Mike?
I actually say that's exactly why I think he deserves to be traded up for, because, at the end of the day, right, you don't always know who you're getting when you pick somebody. The first pick of the draft could always pan out to, not have a successful career. It's just, you never know. So really, I believe that JJ, the stuff that he didn't show is exactly why I'd want to, draft him, because he has so much more to show. He has so much upside. He has, his ceiling is very high. If you watch what he did for us, when he needed to create, he did so. When he needed to run, he did so. And, yes, he did manage our games very well. He was a great quarterback in the system that we had. And going against him every day in practice, I've seen the things that he's able to do. I know what his arm talent looks like. I know how well he can, create plays and extend plays. I know the type of poise he has to win a game. And lastly, the one thing you can never take away from him is the fact that he's a winner. He's an ultimate competitor. He's growing into continuing to be a leader. So, why wouldn't you draft J.J. McCarthy as a top quarterback in this class?
And then let's talk about you before I send you on your day. You're going to be a dad soon? Is that a true story? You're a dad to be?
I am actually. I did notice your best dad ever sign right there.
Oh, yeah. If you need tips, any pointers, I'm here for you.
Please share. Please share.
Oh, gosh. You're whenever you want. I've got tons of them. But, you just you're now in the position of just having to be supportive and being there right now. You know what I mean? How long is your girlfriend in right now?
We're 30, going on 32 weeks. So
okay.
We're 2 months away. We're 2 months away. So in 2 months, actually, our daughter should be here.
Okay. So you're in training camp for being a father before going into training camp as being a professional football player. It's basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
All right. So you just got to be supportive. Just got to be there. Obviously, being there the day of the birth, that's paramount, but you knew that already.
Yep.
And then just learn how to put in a car seat. What else? Chris, you want to help out here? Mike? Because he's got a 4-year-old at home. What do you think?
Basically, you're a utility infielder. Anything your partner needs, yes. Get up in the middle of the night, yes. Food, takeout, groceries, clean the house, dishes, yes.
Yes. Do you know if it's a boy or a girl? Do you know yet?
It's a girl.
Okay, it's a girl. Girl dad.
Great.
It's the greatest. It's awesome. Does she? And the first thing that she's going to have to know is she goes to the University of Michigan, right, Mike? Like that's the one. That's the first thing. Correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Now, what last question for you. What will a team get if they draft Mike Sainristil?
They're getting a complete football player, a guy who, plays the game of football the way it should be played. They're getting a leader. They're getting, somebody who's going to do whatever it takes to help the team win, no matter where he's needed. Again, the ultimate competitor. And they're getting a guy who wants to, win Super Bowls and, create a legacy at the, organization that he's going to be in.
Okay. Fantastic. And they get a champion, right? A national champion?
Exactly.
A leader and a best? That's what they get. Fantastic. Hey, Mike, thank you. Not just for zooming into the show, but I will always say this to and I've got Chris Jenkins on tomorrow's program. That's a beautiful thing. I'm not just being self-serving by having Michigan Wolverines on. There were 18 of you at the Combine, and they're national champions. So this is a legit conversation to be having before a draft. But, hey, thank you for performing the way that you did and comporting yourself the way that you do. It means a lot, man. It means a lot to so many of us that graduated before you. And thank you, and congrats in advance.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you. Right
back at you. And I'll see you. And by the way, maybe you'll be a teammate of Aiden Hutchinson in a week.
We'll see.
Wouldn't that be something else for sure? Mike, thanks for the time. Congrats in advance of being a dad and being an NFL player. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. That's Mike Sainristil here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.